Alrighty, guys, I'm now 7-0 in my last 7 board member tier package bets on my website. And if you want to see a video breakdown of every one of my personal bets here today, the only way you can do that is to watch my board member podcast. And the only way to access my board member podcast is to become a board member on my website. It's to join my full access, all-inclusive board member package. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my NBA free pick video here today for Saturday, March 4th, 2023. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a really good Friday night, good start to your weekend. Hopefully you're not too hungover here today. Of course, my name is Brock Page, and I've been giving out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. And once again, guys, if you want to see a full video breakdown of every one of my personal bets here today, you can actually do that right now by becoming a board member on my website. Folks who are signed up to my all-inclusive board member package, they're going to get access to my board member podcast every single day you're signed up. You're also going to get access to every single personal play, every single package, every single day until April 1st as well. It's an all-inclusive deal, all-inclusive membership. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side, and total. And what I do on patreon.com/BrockPage is I actually share with you which one of these free picks on these videos that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, I currently have over 520 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Raptors at the Wizards, 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Toronto's the 1-point favorite, totals 222. Now, the Raptors have been playing some pretty good basketball here recently. They got the W in 7 out of their last 10. And they've had some really good success against Washington in recent meetings. Out of their last 10 contests against the Wizards, well, the Raptors got the W 7 times. They also held Washington to just 108 points a game in those meetings. OG Anunoby leads the team in steals, and he also scores 16 points a game. Meanwhile, Pascal Siakam, he's scoring a team-high 25 points a night as well. They're facing a Washington team who has a pretty tough time scoring in the nation's capital. These guys are in the bottom 5 in the NBA right now in home points per game. They also have a losing record against Eastern Conference opponents. Now, injury-wise, Monte Morris is still inactive for Washington. Otto Porter is still out for Toronto. When it comes to the total, the Wizards went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Raptors saw 3 out of their last 4 on the road stay under the total themselves. Give me Toronto -1. Under 222. Next game, Pistons Cavaliers, 7:30 p.m. East. Cleveland's -15.5, totals 219 and a hook. Now, Cleveland hasn't been playing good enough basketball recently to cover this number. They lost 4 out of their last 5 ball games, and they've actually struggled on the defensive end of the court in those contests. When it comes to offensive production, the Cavs are in the bottom 5 in the NBA in points per game. They're also one of the worst rebounding teams in the Eastern Conference. They're facing a Detroit squad who's actually done a nice job covering the point spread here lately. They covered in 5 out of their last 7, and they have a winning record against the point spread on the road. And in those road games, these guys, they've done a nice job scoring late. They're actually in the top 10 in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring away from home. I know that doesn't seem quite possible, but a lot of these games, guys are calling off the dogs. So this is a Detroit squad who's used to scoring points late. Jaden Ivey, he's averaging over 15 points a game along with 4.5 assists. Meanwhile, Marvin Bagley, he's averaging nearly a dozen points a game. Now, injury-wise, Burks, Bogdanovich, Stewart, and Duren, they're all sitting out for Detroit. When it comes to the total, the Pistons went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw unders recently against the likes of Toronto, Chicago, and this very Detroit squad. Give me the Pistons +15.5, under 219 and a hook. Next game, Hawks Heat, 8 o'clock East. Miami's -2, totals 225.5. And even though the Heat's favored by a bucket here, they are the worst scoring team in the NBA. These guys are scoring fewer points a game than any other team in the league. They also have a lower offensive field goal percentage than any other club in the league except for one. They're facing an Atlanta team who's definitely built for a track meet offensively, especially on the road. The Hawks are averaging more points a game on the road than any other team in the association except for one. Trae Young averages a team-high 27 points a night, along with double-digit assists. Trae's actually second in the league in assists behind James Harden. Meanwhile, teammate Bogdan Bogdanovic, he's knocking down just about 40% of his shots from three-land. Now, when it comes to the injury report, the Hawks are relatively healthy at the moment. No significant scratches to report to you, at least as of right now. Meanwhile, for the Heat on the other side, Kyle Lowry's still inactive for them. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Miami's last 4 outings did stay under the number. They also went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Atlanta. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Give me Atlanta +2, under 225.5. Next game, it's the Gutter Bowl, the Toilet Bowl. I'm talking about the Rockets at the Spurs, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Houston's the 1-point favorite on the road, totals 230. Now, Houston hasn't won a game since February 1st. They lost 11 straight during that time frame, and they currently have the worst record in the NBA. Hello, wife.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm going to Ulta and Victoria's Secret.
Cool.
I have to get a new perfume and I have to get shampoo.
Nice.
I'm almost happy.
That's a pure women's day.
Yes, so I'm going with
Ulta, if you guys didn't hear, she's going to Ulta and the Victoria's Secret.
And possibly to get lunch with my mom.
And possibly lunch with a mom. That's about the girliest day.
I have to, sneak
There
her
is.
out of the house, so.
Yeah, I just texted her this morning.
Did you?
I was telling her the 80s band's playing at Pappy's.
Happy's tonight, yeah.
But they start at 9:30. And I was telling Teresa, I was like, I'm pretty worthless after 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because last night I got sleepy at 7.
Mm-hmm.
I got here around 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
And slept till 7 this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to wake you on the couch 3 times. And you were not having it.
Didn't budge.
You
Didn't
need
budge.
anything well about?
I'll text you if I do.
Okay. I love you.
Love
See
you.
you
Have a
later.
good day.
See you later, alligator.
Alrighty. All right. Houston. They haven't won a game since February 1st. They lost 11 straight during that time frame, and they do have the worst record in the NBA. And no real surprise here, guys. The Rockets are the worst shooting team in the NBA right now. They're facing a San Antonio squad who won their last 2 straight, and they've had real good success against Houston in recent meetings. Out of their last 10 ball games with the Rockets, San Antonio got the W 8 times. The Spurs actually covered the point spread in 70% of those matchups, and they averaged 120 points a game during that stretch. Devontae Graham, he's averaging 14 points per contest in his handful of games with his new team. Meanwhile, Trey Jones, he's averaging about 12.5 points per contest himself. Now, injury-wise, McDermott, Birch, and Vassell are out. Branham, Langford, and Johnson, they are currently listed as questionable. When it comes to the total, San Antonio has gone 80% to the over against divisional opponents. Meanwhile, Houston's currently 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean towards San Antonio +1 over 230. Next game, Sixers-Bucks, 8:30 p.m. East. Milwaukee's -4.5, totals 230. Now, this does feel like a generous number, considering Milwaukee hasn't lost a game since January 21st. The Bucks have won 16 straight, and they're currently the best offensive rebounding team in the game. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he averages more rebounds a contest than anyone in the league except for Domantas Sabonis. The Greek Freak's also scoring a team-high 31 points a game. Now, Bobby Portis, he's grabbing just about double-digit rebounds a game himself. When it comes to defensive play, Milwaukee's in the top 3 in the NBA right now in defending the field goal. Now, they're facing a Philly squad who lost 3 out of their last 4, and they covered only 1 time during that span. Now, the Sixers have also struggled with Milwaukee in recent meetings. Out of their last 10 games against the Bucks, Philly got the W only twice. And they were actually held to just 106 points a game during that stretch. As far as this season's concerned, the Sixers are currently in the bottom 3 in the league in offensive boards. Now, injury-wise, Dwayne Dedmon is questionable for Philly. Wesley Matthews is out for Milwaukee. When it comes to the number, the Bucks went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Philly saw 3 out of their last 4 road games stay under the total themselves. Give me Milwaukee minus 4.5, under 230. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It is going to be Timberwolves at the Kings, 10 o'clock Eastern start time. Sacramento's minus 5, totals 238. Now, the Red Hot Kings are on a 5-game heater right now, and they currently lead the league in scoring. De'Aaron Fox averages 25.5 points a game. He's also making 51% of his attempts from the field. Meanwhile, Domantas Sabonis is 61% from the field himself, and he leads the league in rebounds. And speaking of boards, Minnesota's amongst the worst rebounding teams in the West. They're actually in the bottom 10 in the entire league in both offensive and defensive boards. When these guys are away from the target center, bad things happen. The T-Wolves got the W in 13 out of 31 road games. Now, injury-wise, Jalen Noel is questionable for the T-Wolves. When it comes to the total, Minnesota saw 4 out of their last 7 road games get over the number. Meanwhile, Sacramento is 21-10 to the over in the Golden One Center. Give me Sacramento minus 5, over 238. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me Toronto minus 1, under 222. Detroit plus 15.5, under 219 and a hook. Atlanta Hawks plus 2, under 225.5. I'm 7-0, my last 7 board member tier package bets on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to see a video breakdown of every one of my personal bets here today, the only way to do that is to sign up for my all-inclusive board member package on that site. Give me San Antonio plus 1, over 230. Milwaukee Bucks minus 4.5, under 230. With my next and final free pick for the video, give me the Sacramento Kings minus 5, over 238.